Hi, I'm Jeff Willinger. Report. Hey, I am Jeff Willinger, and I am super excited to be here at ESPC19, the European SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure. This is our wrap-up show today, and I am very excited to be joined by two of my colleagues, Lisa and Erica.
Hi, I'm Lisa Rasmussen.
Hey, Erica Telly, Office Apps and Services MVP.
Yeah, so we are going to do a wrap up, and I can tell that I had 2 days packed with sessions. It has been really awesome, and I'm feeling quite tired now. But I would like to promote the lunch I went to today, the Women in Tech lunch, hosted by Miri Rodriguez. And she had like a fantastic story telling how she came from Venezuela to the US and how that whole experience was. And hearing her story, obviously she's a storyteller, so she's amazing at that. But I was amazed by that lunch, and there was served some lunch and a glass of wine, and while she was telling her story. So that was really interesting to hear.
What was your favorite part of her story?
I think the one where you own the story, you own yourself, and we should use that to our advantage, our story, our background, and we should target what audience we want to tell the story to and really emphasize on that, and use the channels we can to build your digital brand.
That's great. A highlight for me today was the Ask the Experts booths.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something I think is really special about this conference, right? You get to go to the sessions and hear the general advice from the speakers, but then you can go to the Ask the Experts booths and get information about your specific situation.
That's cool. That's the one that was upstairs. Were you one of the experts?
Yeah, I was standing at the compliance booth, but
Yes.
in addition to the Office 365 questions, there was also a lot of interest in Project Cortex, of course.
Yes.
And then, of course, some of the announcements around SharePoint and content management as well.
You know, I was also at the Women in Technology luncheon as well, and I think what impressed me most about Miri was, not rags to riches, but really she came from nothing.
Yeah.
She's not from, I was going to say this country, she's not from the United States, and how she, was really, she didn't have a great experience growing up,
No.
and then she really turned that into a positive.
Experience. That's true. Oh. Okay, cool. So I would like to talk a bit more about the sessions I've been to today. This morning I was a bit tired, but then I went into Vlad's session about PowerShell, and I'm a big fan of PowerShell, and also Vlad, of course.
He's the man.
And he's hilarious. So when I went in there, I was a little bit like that, and then he just put up my energy totally. So I thought it was a great session, and he was showing us Azure AD commandlets and SharePoint commandlets, and also Teams commandlets, where you can find the private sites and all that stuff. So really interesting session, and a big fan of Vlad and PowerShell.
As am I.
What sessions? Yeah. Have you been?
So one of my favorite sessions, I'm very interested to hear what the future of work is going to be like and hear from some of the experts that are here. And I'm also interested in hearing migration strategies as people, what they're doing as they're going from, whether it's classic SharePoint to modern, whether they're going from on-prem to in the cloud, and just figuring out what do I need to know when it comes to migration. And I look at it as sort of, if you're moving houses, you take inventory, what do I need to bring with me? What can I leave behind? If you're a pack rat like me, you sort of bring way too much, as many people could attest to. But having that strategy in place, and once we get there, what are we going to do?
Yeah, and that amazing session I went to by Bat Jansen, when he showed how to modernize when you have moved those classic sites, of course, into the online, and that you can go and download this modernizing scanner tool, and that will bring you analyze your online classic sites and see what needs to be modernized, and then also it's bringing the tools for you to modernize pages and all that stuff. So really interesting session, and we are definitely going to use this next year, because we're moving from an 2019 on-prem server to online, and then those tools those would be very handy. So I loved his session. It was really very interesting stuff coming out there. So, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Did you happen to catch one of Sue Hanley's sessions?
I just came out of it.
Oh,
I love
great.
her.
Yeah.
She's great.
This could be just like
Oh.
a Sue love fest.
Yes, yes, yes. And it was fully packed, of course.
Of course.
And now it was about navigation. And you might think, can you really talk about this for an hour? And then you can talk many hours about that. And she is so organized. I love the way she's thinking. And regarding hub sites, mega menus, how you organize them, and that it's important to use labels that people understand in the menus. So a really useful session there too. So yeah, I just came out of it.
I can't say enough great things about Sue. Sue really turned me on to, I went to her session on governance, and to me, she is the queen of governance. It's one of those things, sort of like navigation. Are we really going to talk for an hour about this? Because it's not like the sexy, hot, modern, but without governance, it's sort of like the wild, wild west. And Sue, like you just said, is terrific at really organizing her thoughts. Unlike me, I do learn a lot from her. And I thought she's just a terrific presenter.
Yeah, they're actually going to do a special repeat of her governance session tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Because there was such a demand for it. So be sure to check that out if you didn't get a chance to see it the first time.
Do it.
Hopefully not at 9 a.m. during my session. Is it at 9? Or you don't know?
I don't know
Hopefully
exactly.
not.
It was around.
Oh, no. There was one session right after me that was canceled. Maybe it's going to fill in there. But yeah, check out. Sue's great.
Probably will be in the Huba app.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's in the
Yes.
conference app.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. I mean, this conference, I know Eric and I travel a lot to a lot of different conferences. And from my standpoint, this conference is by far one of the absolute best conferences I've ever attended. The folks from the European SharePoint, Office 365, Azure staff have been very generous and very with their time and with their care and consideration of all the speakers. And, I hope I get invited back next year.
Yeah. Can I just ask, what do you think has been the biggest boom this conference this year?
The announcement
Of
of Project Cortex for me, because I
Yes.
am an enterprise content management and content services geek.
yeah.
And I think it's exciting that we're finally seeing some of the practical applications of AI in our Office 365 and Microsoft ecosystem.
Using metadata to tag
Yeah.
and to find through the metadata tags to roll up the
Without
content.
end users doing anything.
Exactly. And I saw in Adam's session about Project Cortex some real examples on how this will be used. And I mean, it's subject to change, of course, but this is really exciting, I think, with Project Cortex.
I think that with each one of these conferences, starting with Inspire, followed by Ignite, I think that each one, so for example, in Adam's session on Project Cortex, they showed a little bit more like that I had not seen yet. Even being an MVP, I still hadn't seen it, or maybe I missed it. So I think that with each one of these conferences, they're rolling out more. What I personally am most excited about, and they didn't really talk about it a lot, was the new Yammer.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it, but
Yes.
we really didn't. No one really talked about it. I don't even
No.
think there was a session on Yammer.
Don't think so either.
And normally at these types of conferences, I mean, I love to talk about Yammer, but I don't. I have an idea what the new Yammer is going to look like, and I have an idea of what it's the problem that it's going to solve, but I want more. Probably that will get us to go to whatever the conferences are coming up in the spring.
Yeah,
'Cause
we
I
need
guess,
to have something to look forward to.
yeah.
Oh, and they are bringing lots of things to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Ooh,
Besides Jeff's session, of course.
of course. Oh, Vesa Juvonen at 9 o'clock after the party.
Yeah.
Because right now I just have the party in my head. But yeah, Vesa Juvonen is on at 9 o'clock.
He's doing it at the same
Yeah,
time I am.
yeah.
His session is, he's a terrific speaker, just a lovely
Rock the socks.
buddy of mine. He's going at 9, and I actually am doing one with Christian right after that. And then right after that, I am on the Ask the Experts. I literally have only been reporting, and then tomorrow I've got back to back to back. And then I head for the airport, back to LA.
Yeah. I'm so sad it's over. Well, it feels like it's been going so fast these days. And I love the ESPC conference and very well organized as always. And it's a lot of SharePoint. It's a lot to my heart. So I love this.
Same, same.
So, okay.
Party time?
Let's
Party
get ready
time.
for the
So,
party.
on behalf of Erica and Lise, this is Jeff Willinger signing off from this amazing exhibition floor from ESPC 19. Have a great day.
Thank you.